Hello, it is Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com, and I saw a trifold fall card that Jackie Ball Heiss made, and it was using the baby white technique that reminded me of that, so I could teach my in-person stamping class. And it was such a cool fun fold card. It opens with kind of a double opening, and I wanted to use some of my old designer series paper that has been retired to make this card. This one is Painted Autumn. It was back a few years ago, and I still had a lot of that, and it's using some old colors that I wanted to be able to use with this, so I brought those in. But I really wanted to concentrate on the technique, which is the baby wipe technique. And this is using a couple of baby wipes, and you just take those and line them up, and then you kind of fold them in half, and then fold them in half again. I place mine on a clear block. Let me get these out of the way. I place mine on a clear block so that I can have a few layers. This kind of creates the ink pad that we will use for being able to do this. Some of the other products that I did use, the Deckled Circles, which is in the September to December 2023 mini catalog. These come in so many different varied sizes, and so I wanted to use that as my label, which is what I created here. And that's where I wanted to do the stamping with the baby wipe technique. Now I have an old autumn set called Gorgeous Leaves, and so I'm using that for this card. But there is a really nice fall leaf set in the mini catalog that is available. I'm just trying to use what I had because I have so much stuff. I'm also using an old retired stamp set called Banner Year. The host, when I was showing the different cards, she had liked the Happy Fall Y'all statement or sentiment, so I used that. I also brought in a really old stamp set. I don't even know what years this one was, but it was full of blessings that I had, and I wanted to use that. And then I didn't really have a good pumpkin, which is something I guess I'm going to have to look for in the catalogs. But September 2023's paper pumpkin kit came with a pumpkin in it, so I was going to try that on the inside. I was just giving some different places that you could look for the different products that you might have or you might be able to get to be able to do this. So in order to create this ink pad, what you're wanting to do is create one that has multi colors in it that can be just at random. So I picked out some ink refills. Some of them are some of the older colors. I am using some pumpkin pie though, and basically you just drop different ink drops, refill drops on here in a random pattern, and I'm going to throw in some. This one had a light green. I think it's the Lemon Lime Twist. So I was going to throw some of that in there. The Soft Sky, that was such a pretty color back then. And I'm going to put some of that around. just to kind of give a little more. And then I believe it was Tangelo Twist or Tangerine Tango was the kind of darker orange color that was in this paper pack. So I'm using one of my old ones. I'm going to throw in a Mossy Meadow. And I think I might do, no, I'm going to leave that one out. Alright, so these are, I just chose some of those colors, and you can see how they're just random on there. Now I want to go through the other things that you'll need for this kit, or for creating this card. The dimensions will be over on my blog at www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com. So you don't have to try to write them here, they will be over there. This is the base cardstock that creates the base, and it is 5.5 inches by 7.25 inches, and then you score it at 3 inches. There is another piece of cardstock that same color, and this creates the flap that comes over. This one is 4.25 by 4.25, and you will score this at 1 inch on this side. And then you're going to have a piece for the inside. I'm using Very Vanilla because it coordinates with the Designer Series paper. And this piece is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. We're going to stamp some images on that. The Designer Series paper for the front of the card is from this stack. I chose this pattern, and this goes on this side of the flap. It is 5.25 by 2 3/4, and that will fit here. And then once we get this piece scored and glued on, this will go on this side. And this piece that goes on the flap is 4 inches tall by 3 inches wide. If you do have a directional pattern, you want to make sure that the pattern is the part that is 4 inches, and then you're going across at the 3, so that'll go on there. And then the deckled circle, you could choose any that you want. You could make it bigger, smaller, or whatever, but I chose the third from the smallest deckled circle, and I did that in Very Vanilla. And that's what we're going to do. That and this one we're going to do some stamping on. And then I had some old Soft Sky ribbon left, and I cut that about 10 inches. And then the linen thread, I kind of just doubled that over because I wanted to make kind of a double bow. And that is about, when it's doubled over, it's about 11 inches, so I guess that'd be 22 inches. And then I had some rhinestones from an old pack. This one is it was the Rhinestone Waves, and it had a really light blue color in it. So you might also have some lighter blue colors in some of the others that you had, or whatever colors match whatever papers that you are going to use. That's what you'll use for that kit. So let me put this stuff aside so I can show the technique, because that's what most of this card is about. And so I'm going to start actually with the deckled circle. So I chose this leaf print that's kind of a aged, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm just going to use this baby wipe as my ink pad and just kind of push that down into there. And then I will stamp the leaf onto the deckled circle. And then that creates kind of this modeled image on here. And the wetter that the ink is, the more that'll be here, or you could even mist it and make it more watercolory if you want. And then I wanted to try to see about using this with the pumpkin stamp. I hadn't done it yet, but I thought it would be a good try to see how I could get this pumpkin to stamp in that as well. And it just creates kind of a cool mottled look for that. And then this one did come with a stem in the paper pumpkin kit, and I'm just gonna ink that up in Early Espresso and then just line that up. Sorry if my head's in the way, just trying to line that up with this area. Stamp that in there. There we go. And I also have a sentiment, or a couple of sentiments I need to stamp on here. This one came from that full of blessings or something, and so I'm gonna just ink that up in Early Espresso and add that. In my first card, I was putting stuff down at the bottom. I wasn't realizing that once I stuck it inside the thing, the flap doesn't cover all the way to the bottom, so it was kind of showing some of my sentiment and inked images. And so I tried to instruct the class to move it up more towards the middle so that it wouldn't be showing out from underneath the flap. And then this one is that Happy Fall Y'all, and I'm using the Early Espresso again, and I'm just stamping that across here, trying not to get my head right in it. That one stamped off a little bit, but I may have to stamp that one again. That's why we have extras. I think when I was creating the first one, I actually stamped and then cut it out. I'm going to move it over so that the exclamation point goes off, just so I can get the H on. There we go. Then I'm just going to redo that one with the baby wipe. Try that again. Give it a little bit more of my breath. See how that comes out. Well, it's right there. And so that kind of gives you the idea of those. Let me move those off out of the way so I don't stick my fingers in them. If you wanted to, you could also take your envelope at this time and stamp your leaf on that as well. One of the ladies in the class, I thought that I had shown this technique before, but the ladies that were in the class this particular time had never done the baby wipe technique, so all of them thought it was a really neat idea. And you can use this for any color combination, any holiday or whatever. And you can see it just kind of, it gets, one of the ladies said that the more you use it, the more colorful it seems to get. So that one seemed to be a success. And so I'm going to take these pieces, put those aside, and then I'll bring in the stuff to put this together. And I've already tied the bows on this. And I'll get those out of the way. So here are these pieces. And so on this one, I have already scored this with the 1 inch here. So I'm going to take tear and tape because this is something that will probably be closed many times and opened. And I want to make sure that it sticks. So I'm using tear and tape. And put that down. And I'm doing one close to the score line and one close to the edge of this cardstock. And I've heard, and I've used it, and it seems to work, that if you'll burnish that down, it'll make it easier to pick back up the backing. So I'm just using my take your pick tool to pull that backing up. Come on. I'm using that piercing tool to get up underneath the edge of that. Now, you'll take and fold this down, open this one. You're going to want to line this score line up with the right edge, and then you kind of want to eyeball and get this in the center. And I'm holding the flap behind here up so that I can see where I want that. And I'm trying to get it right along that edge. There we go. And it goes inside, and the piece that we did for the inside helps to cover where that is glued on the inside. So let me go ahead and apply the adhesive. I use the Seal Plus. It seems to tear a little more easily for me so that I can work with it, but you can use the white glue, the regular seal. I use Seal Plus, and then or whatever adhesive you choose, and then that goes in there. This side I'm going to adhere this Early Espresso design onto. Sometimes I tend to get too close to the edge, and so I can just take that glue or adhesive and fold it back underneath, and then I line up, give this an equal border around, and then this one as well. This was such a cute paper, and I fully intend to make a whole bunch of cards and send them out and projects, and I just found that I didn't keep up, and there's always more cute stuff. So I'm trying really hard to go back and use some of these papers because I think that they are such beautiful designs. Everything that Stampin' Up! Seems to put out is kind of calls my name, and I fall in love with all of them. So you want to make sure that you burnish all of your scores so that it can lay flat. I did use dimensionals to pop up the little label, and yours could be whatever you want or need it to be. And this could be done with birthday papers. It could be done with, you know, thinking of you, flowers, anything like that. I just really fell in love with the Fun Fold, as well as the reminding about the baby wipe technique. So I'm going to put this in here. Wanted to kind of not hide everything. And then I'm using glue dots to adhere the linen thread and the ribbon bow. And sometimes when you're using the glue dots, they may be a little bit big, but you can kind of roll those like a hot dog, like cinnamon rolls, whatever you want to call it, and it will go back behind. And then I'm just going to add this. I think I'm going to put it up here, and then I'm going to add the other bow behind or on top of that. Did it come off? Yes. Sometimes I have a hard time seeing those little glue dots. And it just kind of gives it this multi-bow look right there. And then I am going to use these colored gems to put on here, give it some bling. Over here. I think I'll put another one up there. And that way you just have this really cute thing, card that you can give out, and you could make a bunch of these. It's fairly quick and simple, and it would be good to mass produce, so you could make several of them. The stamping is just fun. You could go ahead and just have a sheet of the paper and do your stamping, and then go in and cut the pieces out after you've stamped. So that's an idea. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and check out my blog over on Diane'sBlueHeartsAndButterflies.com. I hope that you will enjoy the other projects that I link to my blog. There are several other ideas out there, and if you like this video and others that I have, if you'll click to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it helps me to grow, and share with those other friends that you have that like stamping or paper crafting, making cards. And if you'd like to know the next time that I upload a video, you can click the bell icon, and then you will be notified when I upload another video. And I hope that you will look at the other projects that I am making and fall in love with this as much as I do. Thank you.